Hello and welcome. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a fragrance house that I've just added to my collection. Now this is a fragrance house that you may have heard of or you may have not. They're pretty new, but there has been quite a bit of hype around this fragrance house to the point where I had seen other fellow content creators speak about them, and I saw them on Instagram with different influencers, and I started to wonder, okay, are the fragrances more all about the hype? And I did some research about the brand, and I was quite interested because the fragrances did sound really, really interesting to me. But I had decided that I was going to wait a bit and see how everything settled after all the hype. So today I'm going to be speaking about the House of Dastan. Well, I did not expect them to so kindly send me some fragrances, but they did. So I want you to know that I am going to be sharing with you today my opinion on the fragrance house and these fragrances. And although they were sent to me, first of all, you know that I am going to tell you exactly what I think. But most importantly, I have not been sponsored. They are not paying me to do this video. They weren't even expecting me to do a dedicated video. But I have to tell you that upon trying the fragrances and testing them and really working with them, I was so impressed that I knew I had to do a dedicated video and properly introduce this brand to you. So let's go ahead and jump right in because we have quite a bit to discuss, and I'm so excited to share these fragrances with you. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. All right, fam. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of information about this fragrance house so that you kind of understand. So they were just established, I believe, in 2024 because that seems to be like the oldest fragrance. They only have right now 5 fragrances in their portfolio of fragrances. And there's another one coming out that they also so kindly sent to me, but that I'm not allowed to speak about or share yet. But oh boy. But anyway, so they right now have 5 fragrances available, and they're only sold at MAXAROMA, which, by the way, I will leave a link to where you can pick up all of the fragrances, and I also have a discount code for you, so don't miss out if you're interested in any of these fragrances once I share all the details with you. So this fragrance house, which is called the House of Dastan, okay, was founded by siblings by the name of Hamed and Sonia Arefian. And I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Now, the goal of the fragrance house is to blend Paris refinement, Persian artistry, and New York style. That sounds really, really exquisite. Now, these siblings have over 20 years of experience because it is my understanding that they're also the owners of MAXAROMA. So, MAXAROMA is definitely an establishment that we fragrance lovers are very familiar with because they are like an e-commerce establishment, of course, for luxury fragrances. And what I love about MAXAROMA is the level of customer service, the caliber of fragrances that they provide, and also, and most importantly for me, with what I do, is that you do get 2-day free shipping. So it's really, really interesting to me that now they also have a fragrance house. The perfumer behind each fragrance that I'm going to share with you today is Richard Urban, and he is known for his work with Tom Ford, and he is, if I remember correctly, he's the perfumer responsible for Oud Wood. So imagine the level of fragrances that we are going to be getting from this fragrance house. I am going to share with you the bottles in a minute, of course, but I just want you to keep in mind that the bottles, and actually let me just show you. So this is one of the bottles, and this is the first fragrance that I'm going to share with you, but the bottles are really, really beautiful. They're very luxurious. They are quite weighty, and they were inspired by Persian palaces. I will be sharing the fragrances in no particular order, but at the end, once I've shared and given you the details of each fragrance, I will be telling you which one is my favorite or which ones are my favorites and why. So Love Flame is a fragrance that opens up quite warm, spicy, but at that there's also a citrusy quality to the fragrance. I don't specifically pick up on the bergamot or the mandarin, but there is a citrusy quality that comes right along with that warm spiciness. Now, as far as the spicy notes, I clearly pick up on the black pepper from the very start of sniffing the fragrance, and I also pick up on the cardamom and a faint carrot seed note in the background, but very, very faint. And I dare say that I picked up on it because I was actually looking for it. Now, as the journey continues, you are going to pick up on the note of chocolate. Now, this chocolate is not, to my nose, a milk chocolate, but it's also not a very dark chocolate. It's like an in-between kind of chocolate. It's like a dark chocolate that is not very intense. It doesn't have a high cacao concentration to it, something like that. But you're definitely going to pick up on that chocolate. As the journey continues, I don't pick up on much of the florals. The only one that I clearly pick up on, and that's when the fragrance becomes a bit powdery, is the iris. But other than that, the florals, at least to my nose, come across as a bouquet, which, by the way, seems to be part of the DNA of all of the fragrances that I tried from this house so far. The florals are not necessarily blended in a way where you're going to pick up specifically on one or where one is going to be more dominant than the others. It's more about a bouquet of florals. But in this one, I do pick up on the iris, even though the iris is not super dominant. And the fragrance is definitely powdery. Now, at the dry down, this sexy scent, because I tell you, it is such a sexy scent. This is a scent that is musk based, right? And the musk is not demure. It's like a level 3 musk, which means that you are going to pick up on the musk. And most importantly, there is a touch of an animalic quality to the musk, which I dare say is what makes the fragrance really sexy. Because truly, this is a very, very sexy fragrance. I can't say it enough. And let me just tell you that this is truly a unisex fragrance. This to me does not lean to the masculine or to the feminine side. This is truly a unisex, very sexy fragrance. So at the dry down, you are going to get that musk-based scent that is a tad animalic. The fragrance is powdery, not excessively powdery, but you are going to pick up on that powderiness. And at that, you are going to pick up still on those florals, with the iris peeking out a little bit above all the other florals involved. And of course, on a backdrop of vanilla and sandalwood and the spicy notes that I mentioned before. But you're not going to distinctively pick up on anything specifically. It's more of the blend. And here and there, you will pick up on one little thing or the other, but then you'll be asking yourself, did I just pick up on this or that? And then you'll go back to just the entire experience of the blend. Because the one thing I will tell you also about these fragrances is that the blend has been done exceptionally. Now, Love Flame is a fragrance that, although to my nose, it's more of a level 2 musk. I just really feel that if you're not used to musk fragrances with a touch of an animalic quality to them, you may pick it up on a level 3. But if your nose is used to musk fragrances and you actually even enjoy a touch of an animalic quality in a musk-based fragrance, then this one for you will be more like a level 2. At that, there is no oud in this fragrance. I think that this is a very wearable fragrance, but it's not one that I would wear to the office because, again, this fragrance, this scent speaks to sensuality and being sexy. Truly, the feel of this fragrance from the moment you spray it is that of feeling good about yourself and feeling like you can take over the world with your incredible allure and sensuality, which makes you a very sexy individual. That is what this fragrance is about. It is a unisex fragrance, and again, I would not use it or pull it for casual occasions. The beauty of this fragrance also is that it's an all year round, in my opinion. This one you can use during the spring, summer, winter, and fall season, and you can use it for occasions that, that are casual, but that are more like they're casual, but it's not like you're riding your bike or going to the gym or going for Pilates or yoga or anything like that, or any activity that requires serious perspiring. But also always keep in mind that even if you use the fragrance on a more casual occasion, you're still going to have that very, very distinctive, sexy scent, because that is what this fragrance offers. The performance is exceptional, and that I'm going to tell you right now is the case for all of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today. A couple of them do border on beast, but let's just say that you are going to get a full day wear, which means 8+ hours truly with no need to overspray. You are going to get a strong projection for at least the first 90 minutes to 2 hours specific to this one. And after that, it becomes a scent bubble for like another 2.5 hours. And then it does become a skin scent, but it is a skin scent that you can sniff on yourself all throughout the day. All in all, this fragrance is a beauty, and I am telling you, this is a fragrance that you want to try or that you want to pick up if you are looking for truly a sexy scent. The next fragrance that I want to share with you, as you can see, is Game of Joy. Now, if you've seen others speak about the House of Dastan, then you know that, Game of Joy seems to be the most popular for most. But I'm going to tell you right now that while I love this fragrance, this one is actually my second favorite, because my top favorite, my top pick for you today from these fragrances, I am absolutely obsessed with. It is quite addictive. But let's talk about Game of Joy for now. So I told you at the beginning that it seems to me that this was a fragrance collection and fragrance house that was very well thought through, because each fragrance brings something to the table. We just covered Love Flame, which I told you is your sexy fragrance from their current selections, and this one is your spring and summer in a bottle. This is truly what Game of Joy is. It is a bright, fun, flirty, open to adventure. It's like the feel that you get from this fragrance is as soon as you spray it, you almost feel like you're outside, and you can almost feel like the warm sun touching your skin and that little breeze of a beautiful summer day and the blue sky and the sounds of the fun, of being outside during a beautiful summer day. This fragrance takes you there immediately. So it is perfection for the summer season and for spring. So that is what this one is about. This is your fun, flirty, bright, add a pep to your step kind of fragrance. So Game of Joy has an opening that truly brings a ton of joy to you immediately. This is a fragrance that opens up sweet, not sickly sweet, but it is definitely a sweet fragrance. So you have to enjoy that from the get-go. At that, the opening is very, very fruity, and you are going to get the most photorealistic watermelon ever. It's actually a mix of like passion fruit and watermelon and mango. And the mango is definitely present, but in the opening, although I pick up on those three fruits clearly out of that fruity accord, the mango is not dominant, but it is very, very present. But then I can clearly pick up on the watermelon, and then the third one that I pick up in the order of intensity would be the passion fruit, right? Curiously enough, because typically the passion fruit would not take a back seat to like a note of watermelon. But here, oh yes, here we have those three fruits opening, and they open the fragrance beautifully. As soon as that opening phase is about to be over and you are now approaching or almost at midway in the olfactory journey, the fragrance starts to pick up like on an aquatic / ozonic kind of quality, which adds just even more to that feel of summer. But this is not like a beach kind of scent kind of fragrance. No, this is truly a summer, truly a spring and summer scent. And at that, at least to my nose and in my opinion, definitely a summer scent. you are going to pick up on that aquatic slash ozonic quality to the fragrance. And in addition to that, there's a freshness that comes with a spiciness to it. And it is definitely the note of cardamom, which I pick up clearly, very, very clearly. Now the fruitiness, you may be wondering, okay, Arahi, so what happened to the fruitiness? Well, the fruitiness is still there. And at the lead, you still have that mango, followed by that realistic watermelon, and then in third place, the passion fruit. But all three are truly present, and they will let you know from the beginning that they are the real stars of your joy in Game of Joy. At the dry down, you are going to get that fruitiness that has not left from the opening of the fragrance. And another thing that I did forget to tell you is that once you get that fruitiness in the opening, and then you have that aquatic slash ozonic quality come in, and that little bit of fresh spiciness coming from the cardamom, the fragrance is quite tropical. So at the dry down, you are going to get truly a musk-based scent that is very tropical with a very dominant fruity accord, which is definitely governed by the mango, the watermelon, and the passion fruit in that order, on a backdrop of like a creamy woodiness that, if I had to guess, is coming from like a mix of sandalwood and patchouli. But the patchouli, at least to my nose, is never really present, as in taking a key role, and much less dominant. No, this fragrance is not about the patchouli. This fragrance is not about anything except those fruity notes that I've been mentioning over and over to you. But at that, this is a fragrance that is very balanced, because it's not like a fruit bomb. It's not like the fruits, take over and don't allow the fragrance to shine or not have any depth, and then it's just a fruity, sweet fragrance. No, that's not what this fragrance is about. This is a very well blended, exquisitely designed combination of notes, and the way that they've been blended is just masterful, at least in my opinion. And it really will give you that summer day, tropical enjoyment, adventure kind of feel. Now, this fragrance, I have seen a couple of other content creators say that this is truly a feminine fragrance. That is not how I see this fragrance. To me, this is truly a unisex fragrance that does lean to the feminine side. It definitely, at least in my opinion, for sure, leans to the feminine side. But it is a fragrance that I can see a gentleman wearing easily, especially as a gent. If you layer it with a very dominant masculine fragrance, it's going to make for an incredibly beautiful fragrance for you. So for example, if you take like a summer freshie where the woody notes are prevalent with that freshness, and you layer it with this one, you're going to have an incredibly beautiful scent that will be perfectly masculine. The recurring theme in all the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today is that they all do have like a musk that's a level 3. It's really a level 3. It's just that I'm telling you, I'm so used to a certain level of musk that I pick it up as a level 2, but when I prepare, the cards like the one that I'm sharing with you right now, I try to remember that I have to go by what I'm picking up on paper and not only by what I'm picking up through my nose, right? And I am getting like a level 3 musk. And here, I don't pick up on an animalic quality to the musk at all. But I am getting a level 3 musk, which means that you are going to pick up on it. But it is so smooth that I just honestly don't think you have to worry about that. Because again, this fragrance is really about the mango, the watermelon, and the passion fruit, period. Although we have musk in this fragrance, there is no oud. It's a very wearable fragrance. I think that to wear this fragrance during the summer season will truly be a joy. I can't tell you how impressed I am that they even named the fragrance for what it's going to make you feel. This is a joy-filled fragrance that is summer and spring, but mostly summer in a bottle. I think that this one, although it is a very fruity fragrance, I think you can wear it for any occasion, day or night, during the spring and summer seasons. but this is not a fragrance that I would pull at all during the fall or the winter seasons. It would just be so out of place in my opinion. But I have to tell you, all in all, that this fragrance is such a joy, and I am so glad that I have it in my collection. This is also yet another fragrance within the house of Dastan that performs exquisitely, because you are going to get a full day wear without having to overspray. You are going to get a strong projection within the first 2 hours. You are going to get a strong sillage that will get you attention and compliments. So I wore this to the supermarket and the compliments were just all over the place. Like, people will speak about this fragrance once you wear it on your skin, because it is a fragrance that pulls. The fruitiness does pull, but there's such a balance within the fragrance. And it is a fragrance that is quite mood altering, at least in my opinion, and it is going to add that joy. So I am telling you, this is a fragrance that if you're looking for a summer fragrance where you bring those tropical fruits and you want that tropical, joyous summer feel immediately upon spraying it, then Game of Joy is your friend. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally be able to share with you this fragrance, because this one, You is my favorite fragrance, and I am absolutely obsessed and in love with this fragrance. I am going to be wearing this fragrance all throughout the summer. I'm going to wear it on its own a lot. I'm going to be layering with it. I love its performance. I love that it's not like overwhelming, but let me just go ahead and talk to you about it because I'm getting way too excited. So this one is You. Now I've already shared with you the sexy fragrance of the bunch. I've already shared with you the one that is going to give you that summer joy, that pep in your step kind of summer joy. Now this one is your gourmand. This is a floral, fruity gourmand that just blew my mind away when I first sniffed it. And when I finally tried it on skin, I just could not believe that this fragrance was this incredible. Not because of anything, but I don't have a lot of fragrances that really shock me or impress me to that degree. Like, I may fall in love with a fragrance, but I can always secretly kind of relate it to another fragrance that I have in my collection or that I've sniffed. This is just exceptional, absolutely exceptional. This is a gourmand, and you guys know how I feel about gourmands lately. I love a great gourmand fragrance, but I just don't want to keep adding the same type of scent profile, right? But this gourmand, this is so beautiful and so different, and it does not make me smell like food. I feel like I'm smelling yummy without smelling like food. And at that, this is the kind of fragrance that you can wear for any occasion, day or night. And this is a fragrance that you can wear all throughout the year. So if you are a gourmand lover, listen carefully. If you are a gourmand lover and you've been waiting for that signature gourmand scent that you can wear for any occasion, that when in doubt, when you don't have time, you just want to pull a gourmand that you know you're going to love and that you're going to feel regardless of the occasion, regardless of casual, informal, formal, it doesn't matter. You're going to feel your very best. This is your fragrance, You. Because when I tell you, but let me just talk more about the fragrance details. This is a fragrance that opens fresh, fruity, and sweet. Now that opening of fruitiness, you are not going to, at least I can't, and I have tried, I can't distinguish in the opening the fruitiness accord that I'm picking up. I can't clearly distinguish what is the fruit. The opening is sweet, not very sweet, not as sweet as what you find in Game of Joy. This fragrance is not that sweet, but it is definitely a sweet opening, and it is fresh. Now that freshness may come from some citrusy notes, but again, I just know that I pick up on a freshness, but I don't know if it's a fresh spicy or is it a fresh citrusy, like where is it coming from? Now this is not a freshy fragrance. Again, this is truly a floral, fruity, gourmand fragrance, but the opening does have that freshness. Now, as the journey continues, you are going to start to pick up clearly on the note of fig. And that's when you will realize that from the fruity accord of this fragrance, from the fruitiness, the fig is the star. And the fig will continue to be the main star of the fragrance. So the one requirement you do have here is that you do have to enjoy a note of fig. Is it overpowering? Does it not allow all the other notes to shine? Does it take over all of the accords and tonalities? No. This is a very balanced fragrance, just as what I find the others to be. But here, the fig is definitely the star. Now, once you've had like a good fill of understanding that that fruitiness is, that the fruit responsible primarily for that fruity accord is the fig, then you're going to start to pick up on a very juicy and real pear note. And guys, to my surprise, the pear and the fig play very, very well together. And what surprises me even more is that once I pick up on the fig and the pear, I also start to get like a lactonic quality to the fragrance, because there is a milk note in this fragrance. This is not a full-on lactonic fragrance, but it is definitely a fragrance where you are going to have that lactonic accord, and you do have to enjoy that because it is present, but it's never dominant or overpowering in any way. Once you get that lactonic quality to the fragrance, then the florals, like out of nowhere, at least that's how it comes across to my nose, the florals make their appearance. And there's not one floral that I can clearly distinguish, with the exception of the jasmine. And at that, the jasmine, while present, does appear to be a bit, not weak, but a little bit like faint, because the blend here is more about you picking up on the fact that there is a bouquet of florals, but not even being able to distinguish if they're white florals or yellow florals or what floral is it. I only get like a very specific hint of the jasmine, but it's not because it's really dominant over all the other florals. I think it's more because I was looking to pick up specifically on a floral, and that's the one that I'm getting, and I have tried it several times and I still get the same thing. But all in all, you're most likely just going to pick up on a bouquet of florals that are playing very nicely with that fig and that juicy pear and that tad lactonic quality to the fragrance, and a bit of a freshness that never leaves the fragrance. Now, at the dry down, you are just going to get the most exquisite blend that you can possibly imagine. And that blend is musk-based. This is, again, in the tradition now of all the other fragrances that I've discussed with you today, this one is also a musk-based fragrance, but it is a level 3. And here I do pick up on a tad of a animalic quality of the musk. The musk here is definitely animalic, not very animalic, but you are going to pick up on the fact that the musk has, like, I like to call it character. I think that when musk is done with a touch of an animalic quality, it adds depth and like oomph and character to the fragrance. It just does something to the fragrance. It's not just like a smooth skin scent and that's it. No, that animalic touch adds like character. I don't know. That's the only way that I can describe it. But you are going to pick up on the musk here. Do I think that you have to be a musk lover in order to enjoy this one? You don't necessarily have to be a musk lover, because that's saying a lot, but you have to be okay with a good musk fragrance, because this one is definitely musk based and the musk is a tad lactonic. But when I tell you that it supplements everything else going on to perfection, this is incredible. I can't stress it enough. So at the dry down, you are going to get the most yummy and exquisite gourmand scent, floral fruity gourmand scent, because you're going to pick up on the florals, you're going to pick up on the fruity scents, and you are going to get that gourmand yumminess, but you're not going to smell like food. This is a fragrance that I think is suited for any season of the year, for any occasion, day or night. You just cannot go wrong with this one. I am telling you, if there is one fragrance that I'm going to super highly recommend today, and the one that is my favorite, and I know you've probably heard others talk about Game of Joy, Game of Joy, Game of Joy. Game of Joy is excellent. It is beautiful. But I am telling you, my favorite is You. And I just think that this is such a versatile, beautiful, floral, fruity gourmand that you just can't go wrong with. Anyway, I will move on. The next and last one that I have for you, as you can see here, is Light Breeze. Now, Light Breeze, they did send me this travel size, and I think I'm gonna have to order a bottle because I'm really enjoying it. So let's talk about Light Breeze, because Light Breeze is your freshie, right? I've shared with you a floral fruity gourmand, which is your gourmand fragrance in this collection right now. I've shared with you the sexy one, which was Love Flame, which is truly a sexy beast. And I've also shared with you Game of Joy, which is your joyous, bright, pep in your step, summer in a bottle, fun and adventure, lively kind of scent. But this one is your freshie. And at that, this freshie is not just a freshie. No. This is a freshie with quite a bit of character, and a freshie that makes quite a bold statement. I know that's almost like, okay, Arahi, you're saying it's a freshie, but you're saying that makes a bold statement. It does. It is a bold fragrance that is a freshie, and there's a bit of like sensuality to it, and it is a very vibrant. I can't describe it in any other way. It is a vibrant, sensual fragrance. And this is the one that, in my opinion, does lean to the masculine side. But at that, and as you can see, I think that layering with this fragrance for the ladies, you are just going to fall in love. I have to tell you that I would wear this on its own, but that's just me. But if you layer this with a very dominant floral fragrance, you are going to fall in love. And if you have a fragrance that is very floral or very fruity and that doesn't perform very well, and you layer it with this one, well, get ready, because you're almost going to have a beast. Because this one on my skin, definitely, it borders on beast for sure. So, as to be expected from a freshie, this is a fragrance that truly does open fresh, but it also opens citrusy. At that opening is not completely going to ever go away. You're going to have that fresh, citrusy accord and scent all the way from first sniff throughout the olfactory journey, at the dry down, and throughout the wear of the fragrance. This is a true freshy fragrance, but with a lot of oomph. So just keep that in mind. Now, as the journey continues, I am going to pick up on spiciness, and the spiciness is not demure. And I can clearly pick up on the cardamom and the pink pepper in that fresh, spicy accord. And in addition to that, as you approach, or when you're actually midway in the olfactory journey, you're going to pick up on florals. Like a floral bouquet will appear, but this time we are going to have one floral that will be a bit more dominant than any of the others, which is the rose. And the rose just adds to, curiously enough, I don't know how they did this, but the rose adds to the freshness of the fragrance, because the rose, it's very clear to me that it is a freshly bloomed rose that is also crisp. It is so fresh that it is crisp. There's nothing dated about the blooming of this rose. There's nothing jammy about this rose. It is a freshly bloomed rose. Now, as you start to approach the dry down, curiously enough, I'm still picking up on the rose, but the rose starts to take a back seat. And what I'm picking up now next is the lavender. Now, the lavender has been here, faint and in the background. But now it takes like a very dominant, or I wouldn't want to say dominant, but it takes like a very key role in the olfactory journey. And the rose definitely takes a back seat, and it almost disappears, but it is there. It's just very, very faint in the background, because now the lavender is really in command, and now the lavender will not leave. The lavender will be here at the dry down and throughout the wear of the fragrance, really making its presence known. So at the dry down, you are going to get a beautiful, fresh, citrusy fragrance that has as a dominant floral lavender on a backdrop of a level 3 musk that has some woody and spicy accords. and it is going to be very clear to you that there's some woodiness there, adding like some additional character again to this very fresh and citrusy fragrance. And I have to tell you, that combination of the fresh citrusy accords with the lavender and those woody notes makes for an incredibly, exquisitely beautiful, but at the same time like vibrant and sensual kind of fragrance that I have to tell you, I love to sniff this on my husband, but I also love to layer with it. Now, if you are going to layer with this fragrance, please keep in mind that this is a very intense fragrance, so you really don't need to spray much. Actually, when I have layered with it, I just sprayed it in one pulse point and that's it, and then layered it with the other fragrance and then sprayed the other fragrance all throughout, because this is a fragrance that if you're not careful, it will overpower anything else that you layer with, which is not typically what you experience with a freshie, but here that is the case. To me, this is a fragrance that it definitely has no oud. It does have that musk, which I discussed with you before. The musk is a level 3. It's not animalic in any kind of way. And this is a fragrance that I think you could probably use for absolutely any occasion, but only during the seasons of spring and summer. I cannot imagine you pulling this fragrance during the fall or during the winter, much less. This is really designed for warm weather, in my opinion, and I think you're going to get the best bloom out of the fragrance during a warm weather day. This is perfection for spring and summer, but other than that, I just don't see it, and you can use it for any occasion, day or night. So I did share with you at the beginning of the video that I would be sharing with you at the end which one was my favorite fragrance, but I got so carried away in the passion of the moment when I was speaking about each that I know you already know which one is my favorite. And obviously, my favorite of all is You. I'm not going to speak more about it because I think I've already told you enough. I just absolutely love this fragrance. I think it is just such a beautiful, floral, fruity, gourmand. Oh. And then the second one is Game of Joy. Now, Game of Joy, I think that I'm picking Game of Joy as my second one because we are approaching the summer season and I can just see myself pulling this one so much and layering it with You or layering it with Love Flame and most specifically with Light Breeze. This is just such a joyous fragrance. It's such a delight to just pull and sniff it or just spray it on your hand briefly. It's just really a very joyous fragrance. It's not juvenile in any way. I love that it's joyful without being juvenile. You are going to feel young and bright and in that adventure mood. But anyway, that would be my second pick. Then my third pick, and I hate to do this to Love Flame because I just don't think it's fair for me to compare Love Flame to the others because Love Flame is a sexy fragrance. Love Flame is not trying to be anything else but sexy. But for right now, I'm going to have to put it in the third spot. And of course, last but certainly not least, but I had to have a number, a fourth spot, it would have to be Light Breeze. And Light Breeze, I already told you, this is the freshie of the bunch, and this is the one that I've already started layering with other fragrances in my collection. But I dare say that if you layer with a couple of the fragrances right now here, you are going to be so surprised and so happy at the same time. Anyway, so I just wanted to come here today and really let you know what I'm thinking about the House of Dastan. I am very impressed. I am so thankful. And by the way, if the House of Dastan and MAXAROMA teams are watching, thank you so much for so kindly providing these fragrances. I am so happy with them, and I really value each for what they bring to the table because they are each so different, and I love their performance. So thank you so much for that. All right, fam. So remember that I will leave a link to all of these fragrances for you in the description box and a discount code. And I am very curious if any of you have tried any of these fragrances on skin. Can you please let us know how you feel about them? If you like them, if you don't like them, if you don't like them, why do you not like it? If you like it or love it, why do you love it? Because it helps me and the rest of the fam to get other perspectives, not just my opinion. Anyway, guys, thank you so much as always for hanging with me today. As usual, this was so much fun, and stay tuned for more juicy content, and I will see you all in the next video.